morning, and welcome into the
Frank.
And in this corner, Kim.
I didn't know you were Kim. You look
What?
I didn't know you were Kim this time. Okay.
Anyway, happy Tuesday morning, everybody. Welcome into the Frank and Kim Really Big Show. The world as we think we know it, I would guess. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. About got myself set.
Yep, talk into the mic, right?
Maybe.
That's what I need to do, talk into the mic.
Talk into the mic.
I'm not sure yet how I feel on this road thing right here. That because it's so direct, it's deliberate. I mean, I know I sound good on it.
Yeah.
I sound so good.
You sound so good.
But I'm just not sure about it yet. But anyway, welcome into Tuesday morning, May the 12th, 2026, year of our Lord. How are we doing today?
Doing good.
How was Gap Band? Wasn't that fun? Burn rubber on me. Gap Band, we're running just a few minutes behind this morning, but we are live.
That was a fun time. That was a fun time.
I guess it was better than me fussing, right?
Right, exactly.
Oh man. Anyway, Kim.
Yes.
The weather's weird.
Yes.
I know, it's typical Mississippi, right?
I mean, but it won't stop raining.
I know, right?
It won't stop.
I got up this morning. It was, felt like Lake Placid outside. I mean, the air's kind of heavy and all of those things.
All right.
When I walked out the door, it was kind of a little cool and heavy air, and it was it was interesting. The stillness in there, but it was heavy, right? And so it was like, Anyway, so Daryl, crystal clear mic on the radio. R-A-D-I-O. Mr. Coolness. Anyway, I thought I would jump right into this morning, Kim, with Kingfish.
Okay.
Because Kingfish yesterday, he posted Kiffin Speaks.
Oh, goodness. Are we seriously?
He says Lane Kiffin just can't help himself from poking the Black Bears of Ole Miss. Now, first of all, Kingfish, we are not the Black Bears. It may be what everybody thinks we are.
No.
But we are not.
No, far from it.
Go to Ole Miss and see if you see some Black Bear anything. Because you're not gonna.
No, that is definitely
that merch.
That's the sign of someone that is not truly a fan.
That merch will not sell.
No.
You will not see anybody wearing Black Bear anything. Anyway, for some strange reason, the LSU football coach trashed the entire Ole Miss thing in an interview with Vanity Fair. So here we go. And this is what Kingfish put out. And this is the article that was written in Vanity Fair. And I'm going to read you the article. One reason Kiffin was drawn to LSU was that the school and its allies could pump what he calls adult money into the football program.
Yeah.
Adult money. For his first season leading the Tigers, the roster will reportedly cost nearly $40 million. But he's also wielding softer weapons. He's turned up the videos with two of LSU's bombshell female athletes, Olivia Doon and Florentine Deckers. Kiffin also seems willing to indirectly invoke Ole Miss struggle to distance itself from symbols like the Confederate flag, Colonel Rebel, and the nickname Ole Miss itself. When he was coaching there, Kiffin says top recruits would tell him, "Hey, coach, we like you, but my grandparents aren't letting me move to Oxford, Mississippi." That doesn't come up when you say Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Parents are still sitting here this weekend saying the campus diversity feels so great. It feels like there's no segregation. And we want that for our kid because that's the real world. The next day, Kiffin added, "I just hope my comments comes across respectful to Ole Miss. There are some things that I'm saying that are factual that are not shots. The population of Baton Rouge is about 51% black and 30% white. Actually, EBR parish is much closer, 45% black, 42% white. Oxford is 66% white and 26% black. Needless to say, such comments do not sit well with the Ole Miss fans. Indeed, the title of the next Locked On Ole Miss podcast is Lane Kiffin is an Awful Human Being, which I do watch the podcast Locked On Ole Miss. Can't say I blame the Ole Miss fans for something, and something tells me the players and their families will tell a different story.
Yeah.
This is probably not the last such comment out of Kiffin, as he will undoubtedly add more fuel to the proverbial fire before a certain weekend in September. The boys of fall will settle that in Oxford, Mississippi.
I mean, really, though,
this
honestly,
year.
Where does he get off? Where does he get off, though? Okay, here's one of the reasons. I don't think what he doesn't understand is we don't think in that type of light. We don't think in, oh, well, what's the percentage here versus there on the black and white population? You know what? We think that person's an individual. That person's a human being. I don't care what color you are. Why are people? Why? Okay. Did we not know that Lane Kiffin was like this much of a weirdo, like kind of liberal minded person? Because to me, someone that's going to harp on that and really throw his past employment, his past school with his past players, by the way, under the bus like that for no apparent reason, but just to do it.
Yeah, apparently so.
That's my. I'm just wondering. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get that. I mean, it's one thing to leave. I think, everybody has their opinion on the way he left. And I get why people were upset. And I remember when it first happened, I was thinking, okay, like to me, I was giving him benefit of the doubt. Like, hey, I think it's kind of weird and screwed up the way he would have to leave before the end of the season if he wanted to take a job. Like I kind of felt for him in a way at first. But it's like since he's done that, it's like he's relishing in the fact that he did it. And that's the part to me that it makes me just want to puke. Sorry. Just makes me want to puke.
Well, he's fanning the flames.
Yeah.
He's stoking the fire, or the embers, as I have heard. We have a clip on that. But I can't help myself when it comes to this. And really, in all honesty, Kiffin is nothing but a troll. That's really all he's doing is trolling. Yeah. Right? I mean, that's really all he's doing. He's just trolling, and he's using every opportunity to, to try to focus the attention on LSU. And he's going to get plenty of attention. And I think that's all great, fine, and wonderful. But Ole Miss is going to get plenty of attention too. We don't need and Kiffin, I like Kiffin for the shock factor because he's going to definitely bring that. And I'm good with that and the drama, but and he also has proven that he can win football games. But at some point is your alligator mouth going to overload your candy ass?
Yeah. Probably.
I mean that's at some point, at what point is that, that's going to happen? And I don't know. It's left to be seen. I mean, can he?
Okay, and let me say this too. If I was an LSU fan, this is just coming from me,
and I know several.
I wouldn't like what he said being on that side either. Like to me, it just sickens me. It's like, why are you saying this? Why are you doing this?
Well, LSU fans love this. LSU fans are some of the rudest, most obnoxious people I've ever met.
But I also know LSU fans who are not.
I do too.
I'm talking about if I was.
I'm not talking about as a whole. I'm talking about just in general. There are plenty that I have run across and met that are just the most obnoxious fans on the planet. He'll fit right in. He really will.
But yeah, let
what? He will. He'll fit right in. I mean, because there's plenty of them that look, there are several LSU fans that I know personally that are good people that are not like that.
Yes.
But they are the minority.
Okay.
Yeah, they are. Ole Miss fans, we're little sweet, little innocent people.
Bull crap. Come on, Lounge.
Oh,
Let's
my.
be honest. Let's be honest.
Oh, my. I know, right?
Yes.
Anyway, what you hear is the machines that have taken over the world, taking us out. You hear that?
Yeah.
They are taking us out. Anyway, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about other topics of the day. So don't run off. We're just getting cranked up. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Mayor Wyndham, and I'm thrilled to show you the city creating its own future. Pearl is located in Rankin County, the fastest growing county in Mississippi, and there's no question why. Access to great schools, even better shopping, and unbridled beauty make Pearl a town that truly embodies its name. And with a truly exceptional team of first responders, public safety is another key component of our success. With fantastic housing opportunities from quaint suburban neighborhoods to gorgeous lakefront properties, there's a place for you here in Pearl. You can't beat the location. Right outside of Pearl is the crossroads of the South, where Interstate 20 meets Interstate 55. From here, you can travel anywhere within the state or the country. Or you can choose to stay right here in Pearl to enjoy a Mississippi Braves baseball game or experience the small town atmosphere, community pride, and heart of the local residents.
I'm Larry Nix, host of Defining Moments, and I'm thrilled to announce the launch of Defining Moments with Larry Nix, the podcast, exclusively on IgniteMS.tv, Facebook, and YouTube. You can also listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, and Pandora with real stories, real people, and real purpose. So join us each week as we deep dive into the life-changing moments that shape who we are and where we're headed. From faith to family, challenges to triumph, every story has power. We're touching the lives of people with the spirit of hope for life. That's Defining Moments with Larry Nix, the podcast. You can continue to listen to us on 104.3. Also follow us for updates, previews, and more news on our Facebook page at IgniteMS.tv.
What you've all been waiting for, patiently waiting, breathless, sitting there, just tuning into the dial, wanting to hear, has finally arrived. Welcome into the
Frank.
and Kim.
Really big,
show.
huge, gigantic, glamtastic.
Where was I going with that? I don't know. Where was I going with that?
That's pretty good, though. That was pretty good.
Tune in to your dial. All right. So, welcome back in to the Frank and Kim Really Big Show on a Tuesday, where we are rolling and having some fun with it this morning. Just kind of enjoying being up and alive and woke up on this side of the dirt. All right. So, personal note.
Okay.
In case not everyone is aware, you can go to my Facebook page, and you can see my recently deceased kitty.
Oh, no.
My sweet little cat named Felony. Yes, that's with an F. Felony. My sweet little kitty named Felony, who not too long ago passed away from kidney disease. She was a young kitten of about 11. And so she passed away of kidney disease, and I have missed her. She has been my companion for 11 years. And so there's another kitty that I decided I was going to give a shot to kind of foster a little bit, because poor thing, she's been abandoned twice, and I recently brought her into the home last night. Her name is Bella, and she is a Bengal, a glitter coat Bengal, and she's a mess. And she hasn't had really any interaction with humans, like, constant interaction, being able to, sleep in the bed with one or anything like that. She hasn't had it, and she was busy all night. So she was getting acclimated to the place, and just decided she needed to wake me every hour on the hour practically. So she can see well in the dark for like 14 or 15 years old. She can see just fine. She has no problem finding me. Anyway, just thought I would drop that.
Congratulations on the new kitty.
Yeah, it's just, she it's one that my wife has, that she's had for several years, because she's just older and really not adoptable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She would have to go to a special home, somebody that would want an older cat, that sort of thing. So, and anyway, I just was sharing that because, I had a not just a lot of sleep last night. Maybe you can tell I need more coffee. But all right, so jumping right into this morning, one of the things I want to cover, have you been keeping up with the LA mayor's race? Kim, that's a question for you.
No.
Have you been keeping up with
I haven't been keeping up
with the mayor's race for LA? So Spencer Pratt.
Okay, I've heard some things. I'll say it that way. I haven't been keeping up, but I have heard some things.
Okay.
I heard that he had a really good, was it him that actually created the ad that was like Batman?
Yes.
So he created
Batman and Joker.
Yeah, that was epic. That was really good.
Well, I mean, people have created, a guy by the name of Charles Curran who had created some of these. But Spencer has created plenty. Spencer Pratt is a reality TV star who grew up in the Palisades in California. Okay. And he lived in the Palisades. His house burned down. And he basically said, I've had enough. I've had enough of this. I've had enough of the homeless. I've had enough of the needles. I've had enough of the wildfires. He's basically said, I've just had enough. He said,
arsonist, you mean?
Yeah, the arsonist. But I mean, just the wildfires that are burning. And he's basically just said, I've had enough. Spencer Pratt. So he's running for mayor, and he's put out a lot of stuff. But the biggest thing has been the debate. So Mayor Karen Bass, who is a communist, she was the one that ran off, if you remember. She's the one that's been to Cuba to see Castro. She used to be in the Congress, and then she got out of congressional service and became mayor of LA. But she was a congressperson from California. But she's just an absolute libtard, right?
Oh yeah,
leftist nut job, communist, socialist.
Bigly.
Yeah, bigly. And she's the one that, just in love with Fidel and Cuba and all that stuff. And she ran off overseas, and let LA burn down. Remember all of that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's had enough. And so they had a debate where he, was on the stage. This happened many nights ago, and there was a debate, and I'm going to play some of it for you, but there was a debate where he was talking, answering questions, and he just absolutely mopped the floor with these people. And it was not that he was out to, try to get in, gotchas or anything like that, or just try to stand up there like he's a Republican or something, because he's not. But his whole thing was, I'm just trying to be honest and real and talk about problems and issues, and not, throw just money at it. He, like, for instance, he's like, how in the world could the unions be against pay raises and safer work conditions, but yet they're supporting Karen Bass, who doesn't want to give them a pay raise, actually has fired more of them because they're running out of money. And so he's like, how can the unions be against what I want to do? That doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't, because you got a bunch of socialists running that country. But you haven't been following it, right?
No.
All right, so let's see here.
With this homelessness, she was the third most powerful. Robin acts like she doesn't have any authority with this homelessness. She was the third most powerful person in city council. She runs the homeless housing thing. She acts like this is just Mayor Bass. First off, inside safe. I like to say inside safe makes all of us outside unsafe. The reality is, no matter how many beds you give these people, they are on super meth. They are on fentanyl. The DEA statistic says 93% of this is a drug addiction problem. Nithya, Councilwoman Robbins' plan for treatment first. I will go below the Harbor Freeway tomorrow with her, and we can find some of these people she's going to offer treatment for. She's going to get stabbed in the neck. These people do not want a bed. They want fentanyl or super meth. These ideas cost us over $400 million to house for 670, what did you say? 3,000 people for $400 million is an absolute failure for both of them. They're a team. So, Councilmember,
You hear that?
Yeah.
You hear what he just said?
Yeah.
I'll go with her. She's going to get stabbed in the neck. Is that not what you heard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. He's just talking common sense talking, right?
Yes. And I mean, over there in the country of California, over there,
Yeah.
yeah, they're their own. They've talked about the divorce from America, and you know, I'm one of those that agree with it. If they want to divorce, because they do not run their country that has any sort of values that's related to America.
No.
This is the one reason, you know, one of the reasons why. You know, if you are over there, you don't have the same, you know, atmosphere that you would live in. We have a homeless population here too, by the way.
But I, before we get out of here, I want to point this out. You know, like Bass says that he lies about the fires, and Pratt says she's an incredible liar. The moderator of that debate says, I have to interrupt you, no name calling. Pratt says she just lied, though. She called me a liar. Without those two reservoirs filled with 117 million gallons and 5 million gallons, these firefighters had to fly all the way to Malibu and Encino to get water. So that, to me, is the most dangerous thing the mayor put up against us. As mayor, I will never drain the reservoirs that we need for wildfire protection. This is a conspiracy, now that they're empty, that we're drinking, that they were for drinking water. But if you research it, they're actually made for wildfire protection. I mean, he's calling these people out. Right. And he's just being common sense. It's not that he's running Democrat or Republican. And here's the other thing, too. You know, you got the governor's race. You might actually get a Republican again. What does that tell you? I don't know. You tell me.
Pray. Hope and pray.
No, what does that tell you? I mean, think about that. Just a minute. We'll talk about it on the back side of this break.
Social Security is with you through life's journey from birth to retirement. As your life changes year to year, so do your needs. For over 80 years, Social Security has helped to meet your needs and is committed to improving access to the services that make a difference in your life. Today, you can verify your earnings, estimate your future benefits, apply for retirement, manage your benefits, and even change your address, all from the comfort of your home. Social Security's online services help put you in control with secure access to your information anytime, anywhere, allowing you to spend more time with family, friends, or simply just enjoying the day. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense. Listen, as a hiring manager, I've got to tell you, the best job candidate isn't always the typical candidate. Sometimes they're a grad of life.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Sometimes the best candidates aren't the ones you're used to.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
To protect her home and family in a disaster, Karen was willing to wade through water, mud, and insurance paperwork.
Yeah, I can do this.
You go, Karen! By simply understanding and updating what her insurance covers and doesn't cover now, she'll be better prepared no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back into the
Frank
and Kim. Really
Really
big,
big,
huge, gigantic,
big.
fantastic
Glamtastic.
show. And it is Tuesday morning, May the 12th, 7:02:45. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Kim.
Good morning.
How
Good
are
morning
we feeling?
to our Facebook family and
Oh, yeah, we
Twitter
have one.
family
We
and
have some of those?
YouTube family.
We have some of those.
We have some.
Do they exist?
They do.
We do, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this morning we're discussing Spencer Pratt just a little bit because he's running for mayor out there and in LA. And I think it's just really funny that he's actually sounds a little bit like Trump. Not a lot, but a little bit like Trump. He's just telling it like it is.
Well, it's common sense.
Right.
That's why it sounds
So
that
there
way.
was a big fire in LA. A high rise was burning. It took multiple trucks to respond to this. And Spencer was talking. He said yesterday, 10% of LA's fire department had to go fight the fire. 10%. And he said for every single drug call that the fire has to respond to takes away one truck and 6 firefighters.
Wow.
He said, so if that was 10% that had to respond to the fire, and then you have something else major breakout, and then you have some drug overdoses, who's going to start responding to all these calls? I mean, he's just pointing this out, right? You already have to call, when you call 911, you get put on hold in California. And on top of that, Gavin Newsom and the Democrats, as Trump has been calling them, the Democrats, they were going to put in a brand new 911 system. Have you heard about this?
No.
I'm shooting from the hip here. This is from memory. But they were going to put in a new 911 system when Gavin Newsom became governor, 8 years ago? 7 years ago?
Yeah.
And they spent some ungodly amount of money. I mean, like hundreds of millions of dollars for a new 911 system because the system that they are using currently is so old that it literally drops calls, won't connect, has all kind of problems, like currently. And they were going to put in a new 911 system. They spent all this money. Guess what? It didn't work. It was a total failure, just like his train. But they don't talk about that.
No.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna look that up for you, just so that I can have it. But California, but the California 911 system, boondoggle. Let's see if it looks up. Yep, that's the. Let's see. That's the California Rail, right? The rail bridge to nowhere. Anyway, I'll look it up later. But where I'm going with that is Spencer is doing nothing but just saying, hey, look at this ridiculousness. There's homeless people everywhere. There's needles on the street. There's feces. There's tent cities lining the streets. I mean, have you seen Skid Row?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. I mean, it's
disgusting.
Yeah, and I don't understand. And as disgusting as it is, imagine paying, $500,000 to $1 million just to live in a normal house like you would live around here in Pearl, just to walk outside and have people, overdosing and shooting up and pooping on the streets and all that stuff right in front of your doorstep. This is why I don't understand why so many Californians are so, they don't seem to be as, upset about it. Maybe they're coming around a little bit with the way the governor's race looks, but I don't know if they're all the way there yet. And I mean, if I was experiencing that every day, I would be giving hell to, my city council and, protesting this. I would be doing all of that, or I just wouldn't be living there personally. But if I had to live there, that's what I would do. I just don't understand why there's not more of that.
Well, it's common sense.
Yeah, there's not a lot of that over there.
It's just common sense. And on the left coast, the whacked out leftist over there, they're losing. It's an exodus. They're losing citizens. They're running from the high taxes. I think they're paying like $8 a gallon for gas right now. It's just insanity, run stupid. And that's all. I mean, but to get this problem resolved, what's going on needs to happen. Grassroots, change in local party leadership, getting out the old dead wood, getting rid of some of these old dead rhinos that we have laying around. Especially we got some in Mississippi that are just garbage that we need to get rid of.
Right.
But it's changing the local landscape, getting down to grassroots. That's what we have to do. And Spencer just running for mayor. He's running for mayor because he's sick and tired of it. The last thing that just finally got him bent over the whole deal was the house burning down. I mean, he talks about how he literally lost everything in the fire, like everything. He parked a mobile home on his lot because he lives in a trailer.
Right. I bet
because he can't get a permit to rebuild his house. I mean, how ridiculous is this?
Yeah, there's so much stuff. I mean, and then when you hear about what was it? I'm trying to think of what organization had the fundraiser with all the bands that played to raise money to help the victims of the wildfire, and the majority of the money, a huge majority of the money, did not go anywhere to helping those people.
I know, right?
And I'm just like, you do all this is, I mean, yet again, another reason why I don't understand why the citizens aren't just up in arms every single day. I don't understand it. I mean,
well,
it's right in front of your face.
It is. It's definitely right in front of the face. But I'm just bringing it to everybody's attention that if you're not keeping up with what's going on out in LA, it's a good possibility that some things are going to change out there. And just stay tuned. That's all I can say. It's just stay tuned. I have said before on this program, and Kim, I have said this for years. And everybody that knows me and if you're born around here and from this area and you're from the South, you know what I'm talking about. It usually more than likely gets worse just before it gets better, right? There's this peak worst moment, like where it just gets almost untenable, where you just can't tolerate it anymore. You're like at your breaking point. It usually gets to that point, and then it makes this drastic turnaround.
Yeah.
And that's usually the way it goes. And
it's sad to say that's true.
Oh, I'm glad you agree, because that's kind of the way I think, and it always seems to get worse just before it gets better. And technology, you know, pigs always scream the loudest just before they're killed, for slaughtered. That's just where it is. And when you put your foot on the neck of something, and you're fixing to take it out, that's when it's going to be the most vocal. And right now, leftist, socialist, communists who have taken over the Democrat Party, the Democrats, as Trump has now coined them, they are literally screaming from the rooftops. And so I'm pivoting from the left coast. Now let's pivot over to the right coast, to Virginia, where the governor of Virginia ran as a moderate Democrat, Spanberger, and she's turned into a communist leftist progressive who they literally just railroaded through there, this map change, and the Supreme Court of Virginia, Virginians said, no, not going to happen. And now look at them. These Democrats are running around screaming racism, Jim Crow, all of these things. They're running around saying that they're taking away your rights and they're taking away all your stuff. I mean, that's what you're hearing them say.
Yeah, which is ridiculous, because there's no proof to that actual fact.
There's no proof to that actual fact.
No.
None. Zero. Nada. Zip.
But I always laugh at the fact that when you ask for actual proof, they never give you any. And, so you want to scream that because they're saying you can't gerrymander based off race. That's what they're screaming about, it being racist. But that's the funny part of it. Them doing it in that way is the racist part. That is the racism. You can't do that based on race. Because what you're doing is you're saying if there's a majority black population, that they must be Democrat. And that's the point. People can't be individuals. In your eyes, black people can't have a say-so in how they believe. They have to believe one way. That's the ridiculous part. And this is the part where you take it back in history. They have always believed that black people are beneath them, and that...
Well, they're crying and screaming. Now think about this too. They're crying and screaming because Tennessee just did a redistricting. Tennessee. And they redistrict the Memphis area. And you've got Democrats now just crowing at the top of their lungs. Oh, you're taking out the black district. You're bringing back Jim Crow. Here we go again. By the way, that was all Democrat policies, by the way, Jim Crow. But you're I know, right? He's revisionist historian, but you're bringing back Jim Crow. And do you know who's going to win that district? It's going to be a Republican. It's going to be a black lady.
Yes.
But you know who she's going to replace? A Democrat white guy.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
All right. So I know, right? These people, they just, oh my gosh, these people. But I want you to hear this.
My grandparents are black. All 8 of my great-grandparents, all 16 of my great-greats. On my mother's side, my ancestors were enslaved in Alabama. On my father's side, we were enslaved in Texas. I am not oppressed. I'm not oppressed, and I'm not a victim. I'm neither oppressed nor a victim. I travel all across this country of ours, and I check into hotels, and I fly commercially, and I walk into retail establishments, and I order food in restaurants. I go wherever I want, whenever I want. I am treated with kindness, dignity, and respect, literally from coast to coast. I have 3 children. They are not oppressed either, although they are victims. I've taught my children they are victims of 3 things: their own ignorance, their own laziness, and their own poor decision-making. That is all. My children, we are not victims of America. We are not victims of some unseen 190-year-old force that kind of floats around in the ether. Putting critical race theory into our classrooms is taking our nation in the wrong direction. Racism in America would by and large be dead today if it were not for certain people and institutions keeping it on life support. And sadly, very sadly, one of those institutions is the American education system. I can think of nothing more damaging to a society than to tell a born today that she has grievances against another baby born today simply because of what their ancestors may have done 2 centuries ago. There is simply no point in doing that to our children. And putting critical race theory into our classrooms in part does that. Putting critical race theory into our classrooms is not combating racism, it's fanning the flames of what little embers are left.
Hear that? That is a black man. Descended from slaves. He just gave you the list.
Yes. He did his homework.
That he's not oppressed.
Yeah.
He doesn't feel oppressed at all. And you got these people like Abigail Spanberger, who ran as a moderate, now literally wanting to rip up the Virginia Constitution because they wanted to redraw districts. Look, I got no problem if you want to gerrymander some districts. Elections have consequences, right?
Right. But you can't
But you can't do it based on race, just thinking that because you're black, you vote Democrat.
Yes. That is the racist mentality.
Yes.
I have
watched video after video after video on X of black men and women talk about this very thing. This is just one example. Talk about this very thing. They didn't vote for Donald Trump because he was a Republican or they were Republicans. No, they voted for Donald Trump because they don't want, men and women sports. They don't want boys in girls' bathrooms.
Right.
They don't want their children turned gay by having sex changes at 12. I mean, that's literally what they're saying. And it's not that they're just in love with the Republican Party. That's nothing to do with it. They're talking about the policies of the Democrat policy of the Democrat Party.
Right.
Right?
Right. And I've heard some of them too, to be honest. They do their homework and they see that the left party, the Democrats have been taken over by, they lie, they cheat, they steal, and they try to cover up, and they want this country to be the elitists and the serfs. and honestly, I mean, if you do your homework, tell me I'm wrong. They really want themselves to be the upper crust and everybody else to be, I guess looking out for scraps that they give them. I mean, I thought we wanted no kings, but when you look at a lot of the ways that they behave and act, they're the ones that want the kings.
Of course they do.
Yeah. So.
Anyway, we got a break.
Yes, we do.
AI's taking us out again.
Taking us out.
AI is taking us out again. So I guess we're going to have to step aside. But when we come back, Scott Jennings, CNN.
Hey, y'all, Jeff Foxworthy here. Now, if you've ever found yourself repeating the same thing over and over for 75 years, you might be Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
That's why I'm filling in for Smokey to switch things up, because there's a lot more to say. And I should know because my grandfather was a firefighter. And one of the things he taught me is that the people that love the outdoors the most are often the ones accidentally starting wildfires, which means always BYOB. No, Bring your own bucket to the campfire. And be extra careful with things like burning yard trimmings. Don't just walk away, or chances are you might be starting a wildfire. So for the love of the outdoors, go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
I'm Larry Nix, host of Defining Moments, and I'm thrilled to announce the launch of Defining Moments with Larry Nix, the podcast, exclusively on IgniteMS.tv, Facebook, and YouTube. You can also listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, and Pandora with real stories, real people, and real purpose. So join us each week as we deep dive into the life-changing moments that shape who we are and where we're headed. From faith to family, challenges to triumph, every story has power. We're touching the lives of people with the spirit of hope for life. That's Defining Moments with Larry Nix, the podcast. You can continue to listen to us on 104.3. Also follow us for updates, previews, and more news on our Facebook page at IgniteMS.tv.
Welcome back into the
Frank.
and Kim. Really big, huge, gigantic, massive,
enormous.
Good to be here.
Fantastic.
Tuesday show, where it is 7:23 this morning. So make sure that you are getting up if you're listening to me and you're still laying in the bed. If you aren't up by now, you're probably going to be stanky when you get to work because you ain't got much time. You better go splash through the shower. Splash and dash.
Splash and dash.
Splash and dash and get ready. Get ready to go. Time to get to work. If you got to be there by 8, you're supposed to be there at 7:30. You're going to be late unless you're in the car and almost there. If you're supposed to be there at 7, you are late. You might want to call in sick today.
Granted, if you work any later, you'll probably be all right.
You'd probably be all right. All right, Scott Jennings setting the record straight on CNN Newsnight with Abby Phillips. This is on him talking about redistricting.
Of Louisiana, they didn't have a choice. The Supreme Court said their maps were unconstitutional. They had to redraw it. And so what they chose to do was I think what they'll choose to do is move the House back to the fall, and they'll leave the Senate primary in place, which is actually happening right now. So I get the argument about a little bit of confusion for voters. I mean, around the edges of congressional districts, you're always going to have some areas where, one person on one side of the street, one person on the other. I live on the very western edge of a congressional district in Kentucky. In fact, if I might respectfully debate Bakari on this for a moment. To me, I heard you say that people are losing representation. People are losing their voice. No voter has lost their voice at all. No one's been disenfranchised. Every voter in America before these court rulings could go cast a ballot this November, and every voter in America, white, black, or otherwise, can go cast a ballot right now. The lines may be changing, but every voter still has the same amount of voting power, one vote, that they had. It's just that this Supreme Court said, your race doesn't necessarily have to dictate your political identity. The fact that you're an American citizen and your franchise gives you one vote, that is your political identity. And it is incumbent upon both parties, Republicans and Democrats, to run people who speak not to just one constituency, but all American interests. To me, that's how the November election should be run.
All right. So what's he saying right there? I mean, he's saying the Supreme Court said you can't draw gerrymandered maps based off of the color of your skin.
Yes.
And that nobody took away anybody's right to vote.
No.
It's still one person, one vote.
Yes.
The lines are moving, sure.
Well, I mean, this is their new attempt after their, the Save America Act is going to create, where certain people aren't going to be able to vote. Well, the certain people that aren't going to be able to vote are the illegal individuals that are in our country right now that they're saying right now that can vote because they are allowing them to. That's the only people who are not allowed to vote. That's it. In that case, in the Save America Act case, That's the only people who can't vote, or the people who were not supposed to vote in the first place.
Well, true. They're not supposed to vote in the first place, but Democrats want to import more of them.
Correct.
Because they feel like that these illegals will vote Democratic in all the elections because they can't win on policy.
And I can tell you why.
They're a bunch of racist
I can
jerks.
tell you why the black community is turning on them is because they're noticing. You know what they're noticing? They're not pandering to them anymore. Now they're pandering to illegals because they believe the illegals are the ones that will give them the votes that they need. And I think a lot of people from the black community are starting to notice that. I think that's why, honestly, they have been woken up, because they've been fed these lies for so many years. And now that it's switched to they care more about people who are not supposed to be in this country than they do of actual American citizens, no matter what, race or skin color you are.
Right.
They don't care about you. They care about the people who are here illegally.
Right.
They've actually said it. I mean, in the middle of, Congress itself.
Yes.
I mean, Trump was talking about it during his State of the Union address and talking about how we need to fix the situation. And none of them, besides, I think, John Fetterman, stood up and clapped on that. And he points this out. It's like that right there shows you that they don't care.
Well, to put it this way, the way that they're doing it in Virginia, because they lost the Virginia Supreme Court, judges in Virginia knocked it down. So you got Hakeem Jeffries, who's not even from there, running around smoking his mouth, talking about, oh, we're going to fight and we're going to do everything we can do. You're representing New York, a district in. So you, first of all, need to just go sit down and shut up, because nobody really cares what you have to say anyway. But he's running around, we're going to fight, we're going to do this. So now they've come up with this wonderful little scheme that they want to do, where they have decided now in the legislature that they want to bring up a bill that would force retirement of the Supreme Court in Virginia and lower the age to 58 so that they can appoint new Supreme Court justices. Seriously.
This is when I
So
say
if they
that they
can't,
lie
if they
and they
can't
cheat,
get their way,
they lie and they cheat.
they're just going to figure out a way to write a law.
Let's make this loophole
so that they can just remove these justices. Oh, you're now retirement age. Here we go. I mean, that's literally what they're doing.
This is the equivalent of stomping their feet and crying because they're not getting their way. Throwing a tantrum.
So I want you to think about this for just a minute. Democrats don't get their way. They cry and whine like a bunch of babies. Okay? They're a bunch of leftist, libtard socialists. John Fetterman is an open Democrat from Pennsylvania, and he says that his party's gone off the rails to the left. He clearly calls them out. He says, I'm still a Democrat. I'm not changing. But he talks about how leftist they've gone and how just way to the ditch they've gotten. But when they don't get their way, what do you hear them doing? They're screaming and crying. We're going to pack the court. Hakeem Jeffries just yesterday comes out and says that the court is illegitimate. The Supreme Court is illegitimate. Here's why. Because they have cleared the way for Alabama to throw out their congressional map right now. They cleared the way yesterday. Supreme Court. Alabama on Friday filed an emergency appeal asking the court to allow it to throw out its current congressional map. They said it was racist, and the gerrymandered congressional map comes after the Supreme Court declared Louisiana's newly drawn congressional map an unconstitutional gerrymander. All right. So Alabama said ours is the same way. So what happened was the court on Monday issued a decision 6-3. Of course, the Democrat leftist nut job, Sotomayor, Kagan, and Jackson dissented.
Of course.
They came out and they said that Alabama did not have to use their new congressional map in this year's election. They would open it up to allow them to go back to their old map. So when the Supreme Court did that, what happened? Hakeem Jeffries just loses his mind, calls the court illegitimate.
Tantrum.
I swear, I want to cuss.
I know. I feel you. I feel you.
I want to cuss. I want to raise 6 kinds of cane. I want to cuss because these people, what is it? Crystal says some people's kids.
Some people's kids.
These people, like Hakeem Jeffries, but also Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom, the Democrat governor of California, he even said yesterday, he's like, they're bringing back slavery. They're taking away your right to vote. You're not going to be able to vote anymore. It's Jim Crow 2.0 again. And I mean, just the
with
same
no proof,
right,
as usual.
the same old. Here's the thing.
Tell me, I want them to prove. Anybody that ever says that to you, say, please show me some proof of how that is going to make it to where anybody can vote.
I'm going to show you plenty of proof. Because I'm going to tell you right now, Democrats are complaining about the gerrymandering of the districts. And Maine, Massachusetts, Vermont, Delaware, Rhode Island. Yeah. All those New England states up there. Trump carried 49% of the vote in 24. 49% of the vote in those states.
Yeah, and they were big mad about that.
49%. So you're talking about almost half of those states voted for Donald Trump. Republican.
Right.
How many Republican representative or Senate seats do those states have?
None.
Exactly.
None.
Why?
Because of how they drew the district.
Exactly. So I do believe you are throwing bricks or rocks in your glass house.
Yes. Oh, yes.
They are so hypocritical. These Democrats are so hypocritical. They are absolute full-blown racist.
Yes.
And anybody who agrees with these people, I really need to see if you've got a temperature. You know, I mean, are you like, 96, 98.6 degrees? Do you actually have a temperature, or are you weekend at Bernie's? I mean, because
right. Do you have a pulse?
Do you have a pulse? I need to see if you've got a temperature, because,
or do you have any brain activity? That'd be the question.
Well, I guess let me hook you up to a one of those brain
CAT
activity
scans.
machines just to see if you're paying attention.
For real.
Because I have seen people that I know on social media right here in the local area talking about how votes are being taken away from people. Wait just a damn minute.
Oh, I hope I run into one of those people.
Oh, you will.
Oh, I hope I do. I really do.
Talking about
Come
how
see
votes are being taken away. You're going to run into those people and not realize it's those people. Anyway, but they're talking about how votes are being taken away, but people are literally being stripped of their right to vote. And it's because they're listening to this leftist nut job on like MS Now or the MSDNC. They finally had to change their name because they've been ridiculed so much and called MSDNC for so long.
Yeah,
that
NBC
it's absolutely
wanted to drop 'em.
stuck. Right? They had to change their name to MS Now, and their ratings are so poor that they can't even get bought by anybody.
No.
What does that tell you?
No.
But anyway, point being is there are local people like right here in the sound of my voice in this town who have posted on their Facebook page that this is Jim Crow 2.0, that they are taking away the right to vote. And the last time I checked, people who you know who you are, because I know who you are, people who you know who you are, the last time I checked, that is not true. You are absolutely a liar. You are lying. You are telling an untruth that you are trying to sell as real. And I want you to step up to the plate and show me one person who has been stripped of their right to vote because of the map changing.
Yeah, I really do. Please
show me one person who's been flogged at the stake because they've been put back in change. One person. By all means. Find me that person that's out there picking cotton somewhere that's getting flogged at the stake for not doing their job right. Where are they? Show them to me. Because you can't. You just want to spew this racist division BS, which is causing all the problems in the first place. I played for you at the top of the hour the black man who was standing for a school board talking about critical race theory, how everything they're talking about is not true. And he is a descendant from slavery. And he says, I can board a plane, I can go to a restaurant, I can go anywhere I want, and people are nice to me.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
And what does he teach his kids? He teaches kids they are a victim of their own stupidity,
of ignorance,
of their own choices, their own bad decisions.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're victims of.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all self.
Yeah.
It's brought on by yourself.
Right. 100%.
And critical thinking also is definitely out of schools now. They really don't teach that anymore. And it is things like critical race theory that really, it's like, instead of critically thinking on your own as an individual, they teach you to think in blocks and boxes. And if this person is this and they're in this class and this is how they should be treated and this is how, critical thinking is out. Individuality is out. They scream about individuality, but they love to put people in boxes.
Yes.
It makes no sense.
And this, he pointed it out very well, that they are stoking the last few embers of racism. Now, who started all this? Care to weigh in? Who started all this race baiting and hatred and dividing? Who was the divider in chief? Obama.
Yeah.
Right. Obeto, or whatever his name is. Barry, whatever it is. Right. The gay Islamist who killed his I don't know. He may not have. He may have drowned. I don't know. I can't say that he did or that he didn't. But remember, his cook died by drowning in the pond behind his house.
The very shallow pond.
Very shallow pond that you can wade in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's all kinds of theories there, but that Barack is gay, and that maybe they were having a fling. Who knows? But that's the guy, the closet gay Islamist.
Yes.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Ding, ding.
Allegedly the closet gay Islamist. Now, here's the thing. He's a public figure, so I get to say what I want because you put yourself out there as a public figure. I'm not accusing you, Barack Obama, of being gay. I'm just saying that it's a possibility that you are and that you're an Islamist, because you sure seem to act that way. And I don't believe for 1 minute that your wife is a man. Just say, pointing that out, or ever was. I do believe she's a female. But I think she tolerates. She tolerates your potential alleged gayness.
I'm just leaving that at no comment.
Okay. Oh my goodness! Is it that time again? Do you hear that?
It is. AI is taking us out once again.
Back shortly.
Hi, it's Olivia Munn with my shelter pets, Frankie and Chance. Say hi, guys. When I adopted them, I discovered that they both have incredible personalities. Chance's sole purpose in life is to love and to be loved. Frankie is a little bit of a scoundrel and always entertaining. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the Humane Society of the United States, and Maddie's Fund.
I'm Officer Kyle Carmerdale.
And I'm Officer Alfred Jenkins, School Resource Officer with the Pearl Police Department. And our job is to protect students.
Here in Pearl, we have zero tolerance for drivers that break school bus laws. There are 4 things to know. Stop at least 10 feet from the bus when it is loading or unloading. Don't move until kids have crossed the street to or from the bus. The flashing red lights are no longer activated. The stop sign on the side of the bus is retracted.
When we catch you, you get a ticket up to $750, up to a year in jail, or both.
Please pay attention so every student can get to school and home safely.
Welcome back into the
Frank.
And Kim.
Really big, gigantic, enormous, jumbo size, glamtastic show.
I think that probably needs to be in Grokpedia.
Grokpedia.
Glamtastic. You should go in there and like define that.
Well, let's see what it says.
It's almost like it's gay.
Glamtastic.
Glam, like glamour, glamtastic. I don't know. Is it gay?
I mean, why would it be gay?
I don't know. Is it? I don't know. All right. So, sticking with the common theme that we were discussing. Mark Levin, who I really enjoy following, he puts this out yesterday. He says, if you listen to what Hakeem Jeffries is saying and watch what he is doing, he has every intention of destroying this republic, including and especially the federal and state judiciary. He's demanding that the courts deliver whatever his party demands, and in doing so, he is also trying to intimidate the justices of the Supreme Court. He says everything is on the table. And Levin goes on to say, excuse me, but the Constitution belongs to all of us and is not on the table. And we need to make plans to stop this madman should he become speaker. And one of the most relevant replies to this was from a guy or girl named Navy Vet on X and post this. The problem is that Jeffries is the embodiment of the current Democrat Party. They loathe democracy and capitalism. They are elitist. Very few of them, if any, even have a clue what is contained in the U.S. Constitution. And they frankly don't care. They are fueled by hatred and anger toward everything America stands for. They work together, aided by their mainstream media, towards a singular goal of destroying our country. They are without doubt the enemy within. AOC is on some left-wing nut job political podcast yesterday, and she says that she is not running necessarily for president, that her goal is to transform this country, that she wants to change it. Where have you heard that before?
Same person we were just talking about.
Where have you heard that? I mean, I reiterate what I said a segment or two ago. If you're living under a rock or you're brain dead, you need some healing, because this is these idiots that are around you, these clowns with their clown show. that are just spewing this hate and discontent and stirring up all this. When is enough enough? When are you finally going to say to Hakeem Jeffries, sit the hell down and shut the F up? When are you going to quit giving him a microphone? When?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, honestly, when? When does he quit getting a microphone? I would like to know the answer to that. What is it now? Donald Trump has just released. What does he put out? Hot off the press. I don't know. I'm not going to read it because it's long.
Yeah, that's really long.
It's long. They'll save that one. He just released something on Truth. What is he talking
about? The failing New York Times.
Yeah, I don't know. He literally just released this on Truth just a few minutes ago. Like, you know how Trump is.
Yeah.
He puts out stuff on Truth all the time. And so
something the New York Times did, or at least that
the New York Times is just junk. Anyway, I don't really know. I just caught my attention while I'm talking about it. But back to what we're talking about. The Democrat leftist ideologues, their policies, right?
Right.
That are bad for America. My question to you that I proposed was when are we going to stop giving these people a platform? Kim, we need to quit. I mean, Hakeem Jeffries is saying the court is illegitimate. AOC is saying that we need to just pack the court, redo all of that. They're talking about going into Virginia now and changing the Constitution so that they can lower the retirement age so they can throw judges out. Here's the thing, in case people haven't figured this out yet. Democrats can't win on policy.
Right.
Nobody wants what they're selling. Nobody.
Correct. So it is just like a child throwing a temper tantrum.
They are, but they can't win on policy. So how do they win? Number one, they cheat. They cheat, they lie, and they steal. That's the first thing, because it's power at all cost.
Yes.
I recognize that. You recognize that. We're trying to get other people to understand that and to recognize that, but it's power at all cost. So they don't care that they go out and they spew all this vile Trump is Hitler because they want him assassinated. Mm-hmm. They go, oh, we don't want political violence. Yes, you do.
Yeah, of course they do.
You lying people. Of course they do.
Yeah.
What did Maxine, that crazy nut job Waters, stand out and do the first time with Trump one lady? If you see them at the gasoline station, you see them out in the restaurant. I mean, right?
Yeah. Go up to them.
Yeah. Right. Get in their faces.
Get in their faces.
I mean, like, really? You're stoking it, and they're still doing it to this day. They are openly coming out and saying that we want to fundamentally change America. And so I'm not talking to you leftist retards. If you follow this show, please, by all means, don't. I don't need you. I don't want you. And I could absolutely care less if you listen to what I have to say or not. Who I'm talking to.
I don't know. Maybe they've been getting, a dose of reality.
It doesn't matter. They have sick, demented brains. And I'm not trying to cure you. Okay. TDS is an absolute, there's no policy platform should be built around Trump derangement syndrome. And that is all they have. John Fetterman said on Maria Bartiromo's show that his party is against whatever Donald Trump is for. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter. If Trump comes up with it and he's for it, they're against it.
Yep, exactly.
So if Trump said, I have a cure for cancer right now, and I can release it if I get $1 from Congress, guess what? Democrats would be against it.
Of course.
Of course they would. That's where we are. So I don't care whether we have any leftist libtards listening to this show or not. I actually could care less. Matter of fact, I don't want you listening. I'm talking to the people who are the silent majority, who just want to go live life, drive their four-wheelers, go duck hunting, fishing, raise their kids, make a good living, enjoy Christmas and Thanksgiving, have a happy new year, and be left the hell alone. That's who I'm talking to, because you people are living under a rock. And I need you to put a pause on what you're doing and hear the words coming out of my mouth. You need to pay attention to what's going on around you, and you need to vote frequently and a lot. Vote 2 or 3 times. The Democrats do.
No.
So get you a mail-in ballot and vote there, and then go down and okay. I'm just kidding.
Don't take that advice. We are not advocating for that.
I'm just kidding. But what I am saying is, the only way we're going to fix this without having to have some bloody civil war is at the voting box, and you have to go vote. Now, before we get out of here, where was I going with this? I see a bunch of people following Shad White. Shad's talking about removing the Benny Thompson district. I agree. We should do that. That is a gerrymandered district specifically for trying to get a Democrat seat of representation in the state of Mississippi. I have no problem with gerrymandering the map, but don't do it based on skin color. I know plenty of white people who are stupid, just straight up dumb. But it doesn't mean they don't have a right to vote. They do. They have a right to pick who they want as their leader. They have a right to decide how to live their life. They have that right. I would die for that, for them to be able to complain and complain and complain about Republican policies. They have that right. I don't want to take that away from anybody, regardless of skin color or IQ test. That should not play a role at all. But what should play a role is elections have consequences. And if you change your map based on your census data and you want to go in and fix some issues, well, do that. There are plenty of Hispanic Republicans that live in the state of Mississippi. There are plenty of black-toned, dark-colored Republicans that live in the state of Mississippi.
Yes.
I know plenty of them. There are plenty of people who look like me who are Democrats in the state of Mississippi. I know some of them too.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what your skin color is. It should have nothing to do with it. If you want to politically gerrymander the map, do it. Knock yourself out. Supreme Court says you can, and I don't disagree, because elections have consequences. But everybody needs to have a voice, and everybody still gets to vote. I mean, it just kills me that you've got Democrats all up in arms because Tennessee redistricted the city of Memphis. And now it looks like the Democrats are going to lose that seat, which is held by a white guy representing a black district, because they drew the map that way.
Yeah.
And you've got Memphians, black Memphians, coming out saying you people have lost your minds because of the way that you're all up in arms because Tennessee redistricted. Matter of fact, they're happy about it because they vote Republican, and they're going to vote for a black lady.
Yes.
Yeah, that's who they're going to vote for. They're going to have black representation in Congress, and they're black. Clue in. Hello. It's not about the black people. Democrats could care less about black people. They don't care about them at all. Not one thing. Because in the Jim Crow South, who were in that? Democrats.
Yep.
They did. Who set you free? Republicans.
Yep.
Abraham Lincoln, Emancipation Proclamation. Remember all of that? Oh, we don't teach that in school anymore. My bad. So where I'm going with this is Shad White has been saying we need to redistrict. Okay, we should. But we've already had primaries, people. So get off of this. Quit thinking that, we need to run down real quick and redistrict. The Supreme Court made their decision. They drug it out for whatever reason. We could debate that too.
It was kind of on us for allowing the primaries to happen before this decision came. I mean,
we could have theory and speculation behind that all day long, right?
Yes.
As to why they did that. And what's going on in the state. Florida already had started their redistricting prior to anticipation of the Supreme Court release. We did not do that.
Right, exactly.
What does that tell you? I don't know. I could sit here and talk about it, but what does it tell you? Worth the conversation, probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point being is we need to redistrict. It's not going to happen this go around. So quit talking about it. Shad White is just ginning up, I guess, support for his lieutenant governor or governorship run, whichever one he picks. I don't know. He's going to run for something.
Well, I mean, I have
stays
my
a state
theory.
auditor.
I have my theory, and
Let's
I
hear
get it, and it makes sense on this level. This is what Trump wants, and I do believe that whether or not we get it, I believe Shad is coming out and basically saying, "Hey, if Trump wants it, I'm going to back it." That is what I believe he's doing, that I could actually get behind, even if it's not actually going to happen this time. And I'm fine with that. But I do like the fact that I believe that he is showing that he's, 100% behind Trump and what Trump wants.
Yeah.
Oh, good morning to my cousin Ashley. Hi, good morning. Thank you for watching.
Absolutely.
About to have a daughter graduate high school.
Cool.
I feel for you.
All right. In other news, just FYI, the dingbat Brits, the dingbat Brits over there maybe are beginning to start to see the light and maybe turning a corner. They just slaughtered the Labor Party, which the Labor Party is the one that's Keir Starmer is prime minister. He's part of Labor. They just were in a bloodbath in their primary elections. The Reform Party, which is led by Nigel Farage, you've seen him on TV plenty.
Mm-hmm.
They are accelerating and have picked up just tons of seats over there. So just maybe Nigel is trying to get their country back, and maybe the Brits are realizing that they've let too many Muslims in and Islamists, and maybe they're about ready to turn a corner over there because the vote has gone the Reform way. Now the Green Party, they picked up some seats too. Now those, if you follow anything to do with British politics and you look at the Green Party, they are exactly what the name sounds like. They are nuts. But they are better than Labor, but there's some nut jobs in the Green Party. Anyway, I'm just saying maybe that's changed. And then the other thing, in Japan, 2 days ago in Japan, Japanese citizens were literally marching in the street. Now, mainstream media is not going to show you this. They were marching in the street, stopping any type of work to go on the first ever mosque to be built in Japan. They are not having it. They are like, no, you are not doing it. Citizens are like, no, not going to happen. We are not having some Islamists come over and take over Japanese society. You want to talk about some crazy people, man, make the Japanese mad.
Make Japan great again.
Oh my, make the Japanese mad. We already had to deal with those people. It was a slaughter. So let's not do that again. But I'm glad they're on our side this time.
True. Very true.
Anyway, Kim.
Yeah.
Show's over.
Great show today. If you didn't catch all of it, you can go back and watch the stream live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And we appreciate each and every one of you guys, and we will be back next week.
Lord willing. Have a good week. See you.